All right, so today we're diving into the world of automated cutting machine operators. If you're listening to this, you're probably already kind of on top of things career-wise, but this is a deep dive into what it really takes to thrive in this line of work, especially with all the new tech coming out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing is, this isn't just like a job. It's a whole career path with like serious growth potential. And you're definitely on the right track looking into this because RoleCatcher's data actually shows that demand for these skilled operators is going to grow something like 12% over the next 5 years.
12%. That's
Which is compared to other fields, it's, yeah.
okay. So we've got all this info from RoleCatcher. And if you don't know, it's this awesome career platform. They break down the job, the skills they give you, like the whole 9 yards. But before we even get into like how to land one of these jobs, I kind of want to unpack what an automated cutting machine operator even does all day.
Right, because it's a lot more dynamic than you might think just hearing the name.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you just hit go on a giant printer, right?
Not quite. Think of it more like you're the bridge between those like really complex CAD drawings and the actual final product. You're prepping the digital files, making sure you've got the right materials, and basically making sure the cutting machine understands exactly what it needs to do.
So almost like a digital tailor or something, making sure every cut counts, especially with how expensive some of those materials are.
Exactly. And this is where that nesting thing comes in that RoleCatcher talks about. You're not just cutting, you're optimizing. Like imagine you've got all these puzzle pieces, right? Those are your cutting patterns,
Right.
and you have to fit them all together perfectly on the material to use up every bit of space and minimize waste.
Nesting, like birds. Okay, I gotta laugh. That's a pretty cute name for something so technical.
Oh, it's serious business. RoleCatcher's data actually found that companies that use good nesting techniques can cut their material waste by 15%,
Iffy.
which adds up to big savings.
Wow, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
So you're not just saving the company money, you're like actually making a real impact on sustainability. That's pretty cool.
And that's just one example of the kind of impacts you can make in this role.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're saving the company money, helping the planet, but like this isn't some automated utopia, right? There's got to be some serious problem solving involved in a job like this.
Oh, you're absolutely right. RoleCatcher gets into some of the real world curveballs operators have to deal with. Like imagine this, you've got this crazy complex 3D cutting project going on. Maybe it's for like a car interior or something. And all of a sudden the machine throws an error, mid-cut, expensive material just hanging in the battens. What do you do?
Oh man, I'd probably just like freeze up, hit the big red button.
See, that's where the training comes in. RoleCatcher really stresses that you need the technical knowledge, but also the critical thinking skills. You got to understand the software, the machinery, the materials.
So you can figure out what went wrong and fix it without, ruining a luxury car interior in the process.
Exactly. And it's not just about fixing problems when they pop up either. RoleCatcher also talks about how important preventive maintenance is. These machines are complicated. Staying one step ahead is key.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, RoleCatcher mentions needing continuous learning for this kind of work. It's not like you learn it once and then you're good forever, right?
No way. Technology's always changing. RoleCatcher specifically calls out the rise of 3D cutting in manufacturing. Can you imagine if you mastered that? You'd be the go-to expert, creating all these incredibly intricate designs, maybe even prototypes for totally new products.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
Oh,
Okay, so let's say you've got the technical stuff down pat. RoleCatcher also mentioned something I found really interesting, communication and collaboration, which seems kind of surprising for a job that sounds so tech-heavy.
it's super important, though. Remember, you're the link between all these different teams. You've got the designers who make the digital files, the engineers who keep the machines running smoothly, maybe even clients with their own specific requests. So you got to be able to explain technical stuff clearly and work together with people to solve problems.
So you're not just a machine whisperer, you're a people person too.
Exactly. That's what makes this career path so interesting. It takes that mix of technical chops and those softer skills like communication and creative problem solving.
And if you're really good at it, RoleCatcher says you can climb the ladder all the way to lead operator. What does that look like?
Think of it this way. An entry-level operator, they're focused on mastering the actual doing of the job, right? But a lead operator, they're running the whole show. They might be managing a whole team of operators, training new hires, even weighing in on what new tech the company should invest in.
Wow, so you go from running one machine to running the whole operation. That's quite a jump.
It is, but RoleCatcher lays out a roadmap for how to get there. They really emphasize building a strong portfolio. Show off those problem-solving skills, highlight your
Oh,
wins.
like a highlight reel of all your best save-the-day moments as an operator.
Exactly. And don't forget those continuous learning opportunities we talked about. The more you know, the more valuable you are.
So it's like you're not just learning the ropes, you're building your own personal brand as an expert.
100%. And RoleCatcher's really big on that you're the one calling the shots in your career. You're not just punching a clock, you're building something that matters.
Okay, so let's bring it all home.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this right now, you're obviously interested in this whole world. But how do you know if it's really the right fit for you?
Yeah, it's the million-dollar question. Do you thrive in those fast-paced environments where everything has to be just right?
Are you like fascinated by technology, but you also like working with your hands?
Yeah.
Actually seeing a project through from start to finish?
And maybe, just maybe, you've got this hidden talent for untangling problems and figuring out how to make things run smoother.
Because if this is sounding familiar, this isn't just information. It's like a starting gun.
Right. Manufacturing is changing fast. It needs people who are skilled and ready to adapt and really grab hold of the future.
So what are you waiting for? Go check out those resources RoleCatcher was talking about. Connect with some people in the field.
Remember, the future belongs to the people who get ready for it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope this gave you a better idea of what it takes to really make it as an automated cutting machine operator.
Knowledge is power, but action is where the magic happens. Go out there and make it happen.